Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Russell Matthews back again with another CRB update. Over the past little while, we've been talking a lot about the people who qualify for these benefits. We've covered all of the individual criteria that will contribute to making the decision on whether or not you should apply. But even with all of this clarification, there's still a lot of confusion out there. And it's not your fault if you're a little bit confused. Some of the wording that is in the legislation that's brought these benefits to Canadians is pretty subjective. Not only that, but with all of these extended benefits, you'd think that everyone would be covered if they're in a tough place. But unfortunately, that is not the case. While I think overall that the fact these benefits are being put into place is a good thing and they've done a pretty good job of covering most of their bases, there are still people who are going to fall through the cracks. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a video that's been posted by CBC the National. You'll probably know that this is one of the foremost nightly news broadcasts in Canada. They just posted a story about some select groups of people that might not apply under these new benefits. As we watch, I'll stop along the way and talk about what they could be getting right in the news broadcast, what might be a little bit wrong now that things have changed a little bit, and how you can apply this information to your specific situation. I really and truly hope that you're covered under these benefits and that you're not one of these people that's falling through the cracks. But before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, hey, how's it going? It's nice to meet you. My name is Russell Matthews and I post videos about investing, a little bit of real estate, some business, but mostly personal finance. The goal is to give Canadians just like you information that can help them set themselves up to live a better life in the future. If that sounds like it's up your alley, or you just want to stay up to date with all of the benefits and all of the things that are coming down the pipeline from the Canadian government, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I've been constantly posting all of the information I can possibly find about these benefits just so that you can know exactly what to expect when you apply for these benefits and if you can expect to see it in your bank account. If there is ever a change to anything regarding these benefits, you're going to hear it from me first because I guarantee I'll be posting that day. So if you want to stay updated, make sure to hit those buttons. While you're at it, hit the like button because one click of the button could spread the video to hundreds more people who could be looking for the information. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at this video and see what type of people could be falling through the cracks of the CRB and all those related benefits.
Sarah Pacey was on maternity leave when she lost her job as a behavior therapist last December. Then the pandemic hit, and she couldn't find a new job when her mat leave ended. So she turned to CERB.
I was hoping.
So far, so good. So far, they've said that she lost her job and then she was on some sort of parental benefit, and now she can't find a job, and so she went on CERB. So far, this sounds good. I mean, all of those things don't necessarily exclude you from being able to collect these new benefits, so let's keep watching and see if she'll qualify. Also on the CRA website, it says that if you've taken mat leave, that money that you've gotten from those maternity programs or those parental benefits, those will actually contribute to the $5,000 limit that you would have had to make last year or in the past 12 months to qualify for CRB. This is a pretty big deal because for people who needed to take that time off of work because they've just had a kid, they would have trouble making that income for that $5,000 in a lot of cases. I'm glad they put this in because it would be pretty cruel to leave out new parents from all of these benefits.
I was hoping that before CERB ran out that I'd have some sort of indication about what my livelihood and my financial future might look like.
But she doesn't, and she's worried she doesn't qualify for any of the new CERB replacements.
It was a little disheartening to hear the Prime Minister say nobody will be forgotten, but because of your very kind of unique and individualized situation, you kind of don't fall anywhere.
More than
That's a good point. While I haven't heard anything specifically that says that she wouldn't qualify, she makes a good point that some people might not qualify for the benefits and could fall through the cracks. I've been reading every single comment that I get in the comments box, and you would not believe how many individual and unique situations there are that just make it so murky and so unclear on whether or not they qualify. The trouble with legislation and benefits like this is that every single person is different, and you can't just make these rules that will lump everybody together and expect it to work perfectly. It's obvious that there's going to be so many people with these fringe cases that don't really fall in between these narrowly placed lines. If you have one of these unique situations, drop your comment with your situation down in the comments box because I read every single one of them and I do my best to reply to as many as I can, so maybe I can help you out.
More than 2 million CERB recipients are expected to transfer to EI, some automatically, some not.
Okay, here's the deciding factor. The distinguishing factor that determines whether or not you're going to transition to these new benefits automatically is a lot dependent on how you applied to CERB. You'll remember you can apply in 2 different places to CERB way back in the day when it first came out. It was through My CRA or the CRA website and Service Canada. Now things have changed and Service Canada has completely taken over handling the EI portion of these benefits, while CRA, they're taking their focus and placing it on the benefits. If you applied for CERB through EI and now you're eligible to be on these new expanded EI benefits, you'll have been already automatically transferred over to those benefits because, of course, the Service Canada has your information, so they can say yes or no, do you qualify for EI? But if you're not eligible for EI and you applied with Service Canada or CRA for CERB, you're going to have to apply every 2 weeks on the CRA website for any of the new benefits. Nobody except for the people eligible for EI who are already on Service Canada CERB will be automatically transferred. So the vast majority of the people are going to have to go in there and click the buttons to get their money.
The Liberals have also proposed 3 new programs aimed at covering people who wouldn't qualify for EI, people who have to care for others or get sick themselves.
Okay, so it says pending passage of legislation here. This is from about a week ago, and yeah, it was that recently that they actually passed the bill and made sure this was a thing. It seems like it was a little while ago, but yeah, this is new, and I'm glad they got it through. It was a little bit touch and go there for a second too. It almost didn't make it through the House of Commons. They thought there might have been opposition to it. And then it was held up in the Senate. And so I think we're pretty lucky that they've actually passed it through as quickly as they have, and that we're looking to receive these benefits by around October 15th after applying on October 12th, if we're talking about CERB or CRB.
But this economist estimates at least 400,000 people who were getting CERB now won't qualify for anything.
It's still going to be complicated for a lot of people.
Plus, the bill for the proposed support programs hasn't been passed yet.
Yes, it has.
Still, I don't think going to be clear. It's going to be a messy process.
Yeah, it will be a messy process. I've heard from tons of people that have these unique cases where they might not qualify. There have been people that have quit their job at the wrong time without knowing it, and now they're not eligible for the benefit. I talked about how quitting can affect your eligibility in this video right here, so take a look at it. Another unique group that I think could be out of luck are students that are leaving school and were about to go into the job market. They may not have made the $5,000 last year that's required to claim these benefits. But at the same time, they're not able to get a job because of the same reason everybody else is struggling. There's low employment numbers and there's not so many jobs out there. But they're not even going to be able to collect the benefits because they didn't make the money last year to make them eligible. At least when CERB came out, they also had the Canadian Emergency Student Benefit that took care of these people. I don't know, man. I guess they're just leaving it up to the kids' parents to take care of them during this. But I know there's a lot of students out there and a lot of young people that don't have great relationships with their families. And you can't expect parents to be footing the bill for the lives of these students. That's a huge gap that I see.
Life has been messy for Roger Weeb and his wife. They both lost their jobs. Work slowed down at his warehouse and at her legal office.
I've put out, I think, about 100 resumes.
CERB has helped, but their expenses have gone up without workplace benefits to help cover medications.
Oh.
I think I've got a...
Okay, I didn't think of that. It sounds like these people will likely be eligible for some sort of benefit, but I really didn't consider the help that they got from their work in terms of paying for medical supplies and paying for medicine. That's a really interesting perspective, and I'm sure it's something that a lot of you can relate with. I'm super grateful and super fortunate to be in relatively good health. And I'm so lucky not to have some sort of recurring illness that comes back or some sort of chronic illness that I need to not only be in pain about, but be worrying about the finances because of it. And then on top of that, now they're losing their benefits. And I don't think that the CRB is going to cover the amount of money that some benefits would have covered. While they might not be totally slipping through the cracks, it's definitely not proportional to what they had before.
I think I've got about $27, maybe a little bit more if I add up my change.
They hope to both qualify for one of the CERB replacements, but even still, it'll be a struggle.
They talk about it, about the hardships and how they understand it, but until you've actually lived it, you don't truly grasp it.
That's true. This is a grievance that I've heard from a lot of people about the way our political system works. The people who are in power and the people who have worked their way up in the political system often are compensated for that. As a result, they're often of a very high socioeconomic status. And can you really expect someone like that to really understand all the woes and the hardships of the everyday Canadian? Well, some people might be more empathetic than others, but it's pretty hard to understand some of these things unless you're living them. I know that there are people in this country that are suffering, and I know that I don't know the extent of it. Unless you've walked a day in the other person's shoes, I think it'd be pretty hard to really, truly understand.
Any delay or disruption to the new support programs could make their difficult situation even worse.
Yeah, I mean, he said he had $26 in the bank, and there's been a little bit of a delay here since the last CERB benefit's gone out, so I hope they're doing all right now.
Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
And that's the end of this video. Obviously, it's not entirely up to date because now, of course, these bills have passed and we do know what's coming down the pipeline, but the sentiment stays the same. People are going to fall through the cracks. We've already talked about a couple people who are not being adequately given the support they need. We talked about students and something that I saw in that. And we also talked a little bit about mat leave, and we talked about people who are not going to be able to get the benefits, the medical benefits that they need. And I know that I've got to be forgetting about some groups that are definitely at risk of falling through the cracks. So I want you guys to help me out a little bit. What groups can you think of that might have a hard time applying and being eligible for the new benefits that have been released? Drop your ideas in the comment box down below because it's going to be pretty hard to appeal to the government to give some support to these people if we don't have an overall idea of what groups are most affected. With all of this being said, I do think that overall, the Canadian government has done a pretty good job of getting benefits out there to Canadians in a quick fashion. I mean, if we take a look down south at the States, they're still bargaining over their second stimulus check, and the first one was only $1,200 for the average American citizen. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is all they've gotten. It definitely makes me feel grateful to be living where I am in the country that I live, but that being said, there are still a lot of problems with what's going on here, and it's something we need to think about. If you found this video interesting, talking about the groups that could fall through the cracks and sort of potential errors in these new benefits, make sure you drop a like on this video. Clicking that like button can start a conversation with hundreds more people than would have otherwise seen it if you didn't click it. If this video gets to more people, we might uncover some other groups that aren't adequately served. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell if you liked the video. I'm going to keep on bringing this sort of content to you every single day so that you can get the information you need about these benefits. The CRB, the CERB, all of the other related benefits, this is stuff that's going to be relevant to us for a while. I mean, the CRB, the CRSB, and the CRCB, those are all potentially going till next September. That's a lot of time where change could happen, so if you want to stay up to date with how these benefits are changing and what could be happening with them, make sure you hit those buttons. But that's it for this video from me, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm loving bringing these videos to you, so I'll see you next time.